This is a nano online open course in which you will learn innovative solution in music sector during the pandemic. Based on success story, Dutch researcher test ways to party during the pandemic, musical renaissance. This success story is based on a good practice published on the internet during the pandemic. Let's start. Silence has reigned in concert venues and clubs for the past year, but they could soon start to fill back up. The Dutch event sector has teamed up with researchers to make large gatherings safe despite the coronavirus. The Back to Life festival was a trial run packed in a good practice nowadays. Before the pandemic, this good practice was implemented in a lovely format and in a pleasant atmosphere with good music that gathered fun and joy together. Music was the elixir of optimism before the pandemic and was delivered through concerts, festivals, etc. The main achievement of this good practice before the pandemic were related to beautiful places carefully chosen for concerts as a way to party. This did not involve additional cost for participants and was generally supported by the Dutch government or other entities responsible for promoting music and culture at a local, regional and national level. This good practice was implemented during the pandemic 2020-2021 as the Back to Life Festival, being a trial run. Researchers wanted to find out if and how large-scale events can take place despite the pandemic. More than 1,000 people were packed together, dancing on thumping beats and chugging beer. They were not keeping their distance, not wearing masks. It was the way it used to be before the pandemic. The event took place on Saturday in the small town of Biddinghausen in the Netherlands with government's approval. In Biddinghausen, revelers had their temperatures taken at the entrance to the festival grounds and had to show not just a ticket but also a negative PCR test result. They all got a sensor to wear around their necks, tracking their movements, and then the fun could begin. Once inside, many people fell joyfully into each other's arms. Some erupted into cheers, others broke into songs. The mood on this Saturday morning in mid-March was euphoric. The festival was the 7th so-called field lab event, experiments co-organized by the Dutch government and the country's events sector. The aim was to see how concerts, theater performances, sports events and conferences can be made safe during the pandemic, said the program manager Peter Laberts. The innovativeness is that researchers observed the behavior of participants and noted the differences in the group dynamics, then compared the findings with the other events. In Biddinghausen, the festival goers had to wear face masks and sensors keeping track of whom they had contact with, for how long, and at what distance. Everybody had a PCR test, a coronavirus test, 48 hours up front, and only with a negative result you can enter the festival. That was the main measure we had, Labert said. The success of this good practice stands in the fact that event participants were tested 5 days after each event, and the result from the first 6 events have been encouraging. Out of more than 6,000 people who attended this event so far, we only found 5 who might have been infected during or around the times of the events, Voss said. This good practice can be successfully implemented or replicated anytime when an experiment must be done, but in safety conditions. There is a need for singers, participants, and a good reason to test or conduct the research. The conditions are mainly social and environmental, but also institutions if the festivals are organized by city halls or other NGOs. Initiative and human will be what dictate this good practice. Now, we invite you to the quiz section, where you will be able to check your obtained knowledge by answering 3 questions. Tick the correct answer. Whether you choose right or wrong, you will be given an explanation for the answer. That's all for this session. Thank you for your participation. Follow the program to learn more skills on competence, understanding of main components of innovation in CCS.